Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. Scotty the Trucker coming to you from the Millennium Building in Springfield. This video, I've got a topic, as I usually do, but I want to kind of run through. I got so many little things to update you on, just because I've waited too long to do videos. That's the problem. Every time something will happen, and I'll do a video sometimes, on that topic, but for whatever reason, I didn't like it. I usually review them. And it doesn't happen often, but yeah, I'll do a video and I'll look at it, and for whatever reason I'm like, I don't think I'm going to post that one. That wasn't good enough, or maybe I put my foot in my mouth and said something I shouldn't have, or revealed, I don't know, whatever, So yeah, occasionally I've got a lot of videos on my phone that just didn't make the cut, and I've done that a couple times since the last video. So anyway, I got a lot of little things. And again, I don't have any notes in front of me, so I'm going to remember what I can, and the rest will be lost to the void. Let's see. I guess I'll run through. I think the last time I talked to you, I was either heading to Laredo or I was in Laredo. I can sum up Laredo. Total suck fest. My God. I was in 3 locations in Texas. All 3 were the proverbial cluster Fs. Oh my God, for different reasons. My 90 was a mess because they wouldn't let any trucks in. We were all over the place on the main road outside, and if you weren't in the right exact spot, the police were coming. They came and were handing out tickets. Happened to hit a nice policeman. I rolled down the window before he got to me and said, I want to do right, just tell me where to go. And he was real nice and told me you need to go a little further down and make sure it's a place with a shoulder marking. You can't be on the residential. So that place was a mess because they weren't letting anybody into the facility until you were ready to load, drop off. My subsequent 01, also in Laredo, exact opposite problem. They let too many damn trucks in, and it was just a madhouse. Just trucks honking at each other, each one trying to outdo the other and cut, and oh my God. Not to mention it was supposed to be a drop and hook, and it was, but I had to wait 6 hours for the hook to be ready. And once I did, after all that time, I hooked up to that trailer, and wouldn't you know it, I get an immediate alert that this trailer is set as out of service for some kind of maintenance issue. So notify dispatch. They say notify RA. I did. I called Road Assist. They said we're going to let you go with the truck, the reefer. I mean, with the trailer. The reefer is working. It should be fine as far as refrigeration. The problem was it wasn't reporting anything back to Prime. He said, what we need you to do is every time you stop, send dispatch the temperature, because we're kind of blind here. So anyway, I got to do that load. This one had 2 deliveries. Another delivery in Texas. It was Victoria, Texas. That was a mess too, and I can't remember offhand why. What was the problem in Victoria? Actually, Victoria, yeah, honestly, I can't remember. I'm mixing that up in my head with Georgia. It was a bit of a mess, and I can't remember why. But moving on, took it to Georgia, Fairburn, Georgia. Pulled up to that place, and I was thinking, oh God, this one's going to be another mess. It was a small, tight little, maybe 7 docks facing the road, not a lot of room in front of them, and no place, it says right there, no place to turn around in here, basically. And there were 3 trucks already jammed in there. I was on the street. I had to move in there. So thankfully, a very rude security person helped us maneuver into some kind of semi-parking spots and waited for the dock. Now, all the while, I'm thinking, it looked like to me it was going to be kind of a mess docking, but it ended up not being. It actually ended up being a pretty easy one. It was a very tight space, but you used the road to set up, and it wasn't a very busy road, so it wasn't like lines of cars honking at you or anything while you're trying to back up. There's no cars coming. It ended up being a straight line back. Not to mention, very small lesson here. You talk about rude people at the shippers and receivers, and there are some. Honestly, most of the time they're pretty nice, especially if you open with a little bit of charm. I found, you kind of get what you give, in these situations. And keep in mind, these people do deal with some pretty nasty truckers, mean-spirited and disgruntled and always bitching, But you open with a good morning, how are you? It really goes a long way. And anyway, the guy came over to the truck, and I was friendly. He was immediately apologetic. He's like, I'm sorry, this is such a mess, we're backed up and everything. And I told him, I said, yeah, I like to get moving like the next guy, but I knew that after this load I'd be heading somewhere to get this reefer fixed. So I told him, I said, I'm not in a humongous hurry. I know you're doing what you can. And he just stopped and said, man, I wish more truckers were like you. And I said, well, I haven't been a trucker long enough to develop the a-hole gene. So anyway, and he said, I'm gonna get you a good one of the good spots, and all of them were okay, but it was 1 through 7, I think, and 1 would have been a tricky back from the road. You would have had to do a kind of an S turn, not terrible, but he got me one right directly from the opening to the road, so I was appreciative. A little lesson, a little kindness gets you what is it? Oh, I'm gonna screw this up. What is it? Honey and vinegar, the saying, whatever. Be nice, and it'll pay off dividends, and it certainly did there. All right, backing up a teeny bit, I just wanted to shout out to Jeff and Steve. I imagine they're out of TNT by now, and they're not together anymore, but if either or both of y'all are watching, I wanted to let you know that before that, I came from Minneapolis down to Laredo, and I got a redemption run at the sorry, I just looked over and I see no Hippie's truck. I saw an orange truck pull in, but I couldn't see the logo, but he's parked in front of me. Okay, yeah, redemption run at the Minneapolis place, the place where we met, and Steve helped me out in a bunch of different ways. Helped me out with the backing I was having a little trouble with, and then subsequently got me on the right track in a big way on my fuel economy and MPGs and all that. I got another run at it and did just fine, nailed it. So can check that off my list. I did well at that same 01, or I don't remember, 01. Yeah, it would have been 01. Yeah, heading to Laredo. Yeah, and like I said, I'm looking right now at No Hippie's truck. I know he's got a few of them, but I think this is one he drives, like an orange, like kind of a dark orange. And I just saw, I don't know if you guys know, it's not a channel that has a ton of subscribers, yet it deserves them. And I always wish I would get the names of these things before I do it. It's Medlock. I've been watching him, not so much recently, but well, he doesn't put out a whole lot of videos, but I usually watch him when they come through. But over the past year, it's one of the channels that I'm a fan of. I'm going to get it wrong, but and I'll hopefully check it out and maybe put it above here. But Trucking with Medlock or something like that, really good channel. But the mysteries of the algorithm. He doesn't have a ton of subs, and he deserves them. It's a really good, informative channel. But yeah, I was on the phone video chatting with my parents. Actually, I just talked to my nuclear family, or my wife and well, my kids weren't there, but just talked to my wife, and then I thought I'd give a call to my parents, and we were talking, and I saw him walk across, and it looked like him, but I wasn't certain. He got in the truck and pulled out, and I recognized the truck. He just did a video on his new Peterbilt, beautiful black truck with chains, like silver chains going up, is the kind of the whatever they call the little line of doodle that goes up each of the prime trucks. He got silver chains. Pretty truck, man. It was really good. And I wished I had been able to jump out. I wasn't certain until he pulled out, and I was on the phone, so I missed him. And I just put a comment on his last video, let him know that I just saw him. I don't know if he watches my channel or even has noticed my channel, but his is a good channel. It really deserves more subs. Like I've said it in the past, you really, the number of subs is not a good indicator of how good a channel is. Gonzo is another one that I've really enjoyed, and I haven't checked his lately, but his numbers were lower than they should be. Very entertaining. His is more in line with my channel, where I don't spend all the time talking about the good and bad of Prime. I don't talk a ton about the finances and that kind of stuff. I just let you know what I'm feeling and what I'm experiencing mostly, and I try to be entertaining in the process. I hope this is a channel that you can get a kick out of it once in a while, even if it's at my expense. I don't mind. But Gonzo's like that. His is a fun channel to watch. So let's see what else. Little updates, anything else that I can think of? Why am I here? Well, I think I told you. I'm in Springfield because that's where they sent me to fix the trailer. I was kind of surprised. I thought I'd be heading straight up to Pittston again. But this is the first time I've been in Springfield since upgrade, which is 4 months ago. So I did decide this is the first time ever that I asked for a 34. I think that's true. I don't think I've had a few 34s that happened to me, you know, for maintenance issues and things like that. It's not the first 34 I've taken. That first week, I think I've mentioned a couple times that my first week out, I came out swinging a little too hard and I ran out of hours quick. You know, way before I learned to master anything to do with the truck. I just wanted to get there on time, if not a day early. And yeah, I paid the price they sent me to Salt Lake City after that first week or two. So yeah, I asked for, you know, since the breakdown, I've been running very hard, and I'm feeling it. I'm definitely on the exhausted side. But actually, I see that no hippies actually in the truck, I believe. I might run over and say hi. But I'll finish this up first. Yeah, I wanted to talk real quick about regrets. I've got a lot of, you know, once in a while I'll get a grouping over time of the same kind of themed comments. And I don't know what yeah, that's him. He's yelling at somebody. But anyway, that's cool. I hope I get a chance to run over there. But yeah, I get a grouping of comments, and you know, I get even in Discord and everything, and they're all kind of grouped together, and I can do a video on it. Which, by the way, I'm up to date on all comments. As far as I can tell, I've answered every one of them, so I'm finally up to speed, and I'll try not to get behind. Regrets and/or do you have a backup plan are the themed comments that I've been getting. Regrets. I just want to talk to y'all about, you know, I think, and I felt the same way when I was doing my research. You keep wanting to get to that 100% level. Like, I am absolutely 100% sure that this is going to be for me. It's going to be a great choice, and no looking back. You know, both feet in, and I was pretty close to that. But the first thing I want to say is you're not going to ever, in anything, usually, you know, any big decision, you're not going to be 100% going into it. And I certainly wasn't. You know, there's risk involved with this career choice. There is. So looking for that magical 100%, that video that pushes you to 100%, not going to happen. You know, you're going to have concerns, you know, before and during training and during solo. I continue to have moments, you know, you have bad days out here, and believe me, a bad day in trucking is far worse than any bad day I've ever had in the job. I hate it. You know, I hated my job. It was soul crushing and frankly killing me slowly. But the worst day in a desk job is usually not anything comparable to what the worst day in trucking is. So, and I haven't had the worst day in trucking yet, but you know what I'm saying. You're absolutely, throughout this process, especially in training, TNT, and no matter who your trainer is, you could be best friends. It's still going to be challenging, and there are going to be moments where you say, what the hell am I doing? In solo, you know, these first 4 months for me, you know, it's been a steady pace at getting better and better. You know, easier and easier, more fun. But man, there are moments, absolutely, even now, where I say, what in the hell did I get myself into? You know, it's usually fleeting, and it's not something that I, you know, would say carries over, you know. But yeah, absolutely, you are absolutely the whole time very likely to have doubt and regret as to the decision. So keep that in mind when you're making the ultimate decision. You're not going to hit 100%. You're just not. You're going to have to take some level of leap of faith if this is your choice. Again, I never tell people come to Prime. It's a great option, but you've got to decide if it's for you. But don't think it's ever going to be, you know, smooth sailing. You know, you make the 100% choice, you get in here, there's no problems, and you never look back. It just isn't going to happen that way. That would be amazing if that were the case. But plan B, you know, the other part of that, you know, I get comments of, you know, what's your backup plan? You know, especially after that after that breakdown video. You know, they're like, do you have a plan B? And I've got lots of plan Bs, and I think even if you don't think you do, those of you fence sitting out there, you will have plan Bs as well. For one thing, you know, plan B, if you're staying in trucking, let's say this worst case scenario, none of this works. You know, tried and failed lease. I hit the prediction of all the trolls, which I'm starting to get. I don't know if I call them trolls. To me, the definition of a troll is someone who starts with a derogatory something and then tells you. I'm getting some very strongly worded disagreements, so that doesn't reach troll to me, and I'm being respectful and strong back in the comments. If you start with moron, idiot, things like that, then I'll still probably respond the same way. You're not going to irritate me, but I keep it respectful, even if it's a strong disagreement. You know, maybe worded a little harshly than I would choose, but anyway. Where are we? Okay, plan Bs. First, you know, let's say lease op is just what all the trolls say. It's impossible, and you fail. Okay, there's company driver. You can walk away at prime. You've got some expenses to pay, but they're not inordinate. You pay whatever your current bill is for the week. You pay to get the thing shined up and maintenance and all that. You know, yes, there are some costs. Nothing you can't handle. But you move to a company driver, either just a straight company driver with prime, or you jump onto one of the fleets like Lyle and Eric and a few others that I know have, and you get a little better deal than what you do at the company. That's a plan B. I hope it doesn't come to that, but it's a plan. I don't necessarily have to exit trucking or even exit prime if things don't work out here. Another plan B, and something to keep in mind, this is the biggie. If you come to prime and get your CDL, or go anywhere and get your CDL, you have a CDL. That is not wasted time, no matter what happens. With a CDL and in good legal standing, you can pick up the phone and get a job the same day without interview, almost anywhere in the country. That is, I would say, worth its weight in gold, but it's only a little thing, so it's worth much more than its weight in gold. You have a ticket to job anywhere without, and sometimes with a big signing bonus. So worst case scenario, I leave prime and I go somewhere else the same day. I've got a CDL, unless it's something like I rolled over a truck or something like that. You're going to get picked up somewhere pretty quickly. Now I'm not saying that company that you go to is better or worse, but you can get a job. They call it, I know it's fairly well, I first heard it with Junior Honduras, but it's a common saying. It's an NBA, not a CDL. It's a never broke again card, and it absolutely is that. So keep that in mind. This one's a biggie if you're the fence sitter. That's something to put at the very top. Worst case scenario, everything fails here. You leave here with a CDL, which is a never broke again card. You will never be unemployed if you don't want to be. So that's huge. In my case, and again, fence sitters, most of you that were, my core audience, and I don't want to say anything bad about it, or I don't want to, neglect the people on the fringes, but most of my audience, I think, are people that are gravitating to the same situation I'm in, and that means you're leaving something stable. You hate it. Maybe it's paying well, maybe it's not, but you're making a paycheck. You are earning a living, probably halfway through a career. You don't lose that. Again, worst case scenario, you leave with a CDL. In my case, I still have a bachelor's of psychology and 15 years of stellar performance in my last job that will go on a resume. I was the director of quality assurance on the leadership team, top 10 of a 500 plus people agency. That I still have that on my resume. I can go right back now. I don't know where I would land. I would not go back to the same place I just left, but in my field, the last job I had would kind of prepare me for like jobs with Medicaid or Anthem, some kind of other mental health program, that kind of thing. you don't lose that either, you know. And whatever your case is, whatever you're leaving, assuming you're leaving in good standing, you don't lose that. It's still on your resume. So plan B's, you know, if you look at them, I think you already have them, you know. So, you know, trucking, or at least the lease level or owner op, it doesn't mean, none of this means the end of the world if you fail. It would suck. It would absolutely suck. I'm not soft pedaling it to that degree. But, you know, none of it is a complete deal breaker, because you leave with that CDL. If you earn that CDL, you've got more options than you came into it with. So I think I'll leave it there, and I'm gonna see if he's still there. I'm gonna go knock on the door and see if No Hippie is available to say hi. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I think today is Tuesday, I think. Let's see. What's today? No, Wednesday. Hope y'all are having a great Wednesday, and I hope you're well, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Hey, welcome back. Just a little update. I'm freezing. I've been outside the truck for longer than I want to be, but I just met No Hippie. After I got off my video, I texted him, because I don't want to walk up and knock on someone's door. He's not sitting in the driver's seat. I would have, you know, gone up in front and waved, but I don't want people rolling up on me when I'm in the truck like that. I don't want them knocking on the door if I can help it. So I texted him, and he said, yeah, he's gonna run in real quick, but then he'd come over to my truck. So I told him where I was, and he did. After a few minutes, he came over and we had a conversation outside. Good conversation. Funny thing was, another trucker who, if those of you who aren't truckers, there's not many of them are introverts like me. At least that's what I've seen. Most of them can talk your ear off. They love to tell stories and love to talk. And one such fellow was walking by and just walked up and started talking. And after about 2 or 3 minutes, I think Lyle had enough. He's like, well, man, I'll see you later. So thanks for leaving him with me there, No Hippie. No, he turned out to be a really nice guy. He's named Daniel. I don't think he had any idea that he was in the presence of YouTube greatness. I won't tell you if it's No Hippie or me or either. But yeah, just a real talkative guy, very friendly. So yeah, it wasn't bad. His name was Daniel, nice guy. But yeah, it is kind of a new thing for me to be around a group of people. You know, it happens at truck stops and places like that quite often. You know, you just got talkers, man. They I guess all that alone time, they're itching for conversation. Me, not so much. So you won't catch me rolling up on somebody else's conversation. But anyway, great to meet No Hippie. I didn't get a chance to get a picture or anything because he was gone after a couple minutes. But yeah, I really enjoyed my conversation with him. Sounds like he'll be here for a little bit. He's actually meeting with Medlock, who I mentioned in the first one. So he's going to talk to him for a bit. And I put that comment on Medlock's site, and he responded. So he's going to be here too. So I'll probably meet Medlock, which will be good, because like I said, that was a channel I've always really enjoyed. His content is really, really good. Well, very thoughtful, well presented. But like I said, it's his type of channel. There's nothing wrong with low subs, but there's people that deserve more, and he does. His channel's good. So anyway, check him out for what it's worth. I don't have a humongous channel, but for what it's worth, go check him out. And I will certainly, somewhere in this video, or in my description, I'll put the link to his channel, because he's one to watch. He's good. Doesn't, like I said, lately he hasn't put out a whole lot. He you know, few and far between, but they're really good. All right, that was it. Just a little update. Wanted to tell you, finally got to meet No Hippie. It was great. All right, and maybe I'll meet Medlock before the day is through. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.